In the pantheon of modern movie villains, Amy Dunne from Gone Girl has a special throne. Released in 2014 and directed by David Fincher, Gone Girl introduced us to Amy and her husband Nick on their 5th wedding anniversary. Amy goes missing, foul play is suspected, and poor Nick becomes the prime suspect, but not for long. We soon learn that Amy is not the innocent victim we thought she was. In fact, she's alive and orchestrating a devious master plan. If there's one skill Amy has in spades, it's manipulation. In Gone Girl, Amy doesn't just manipulate individuals one-on-one, she manipulates the entire narrative around her. She transforms herself into a storyteller and everybody buys her story. Just look at how she staged her disappearance. She first befriends her pregnant neighbor and slyly collects her urine so she could fake her pregnancy. She did all this so the world would think pregnant Amy was murdered. This would make Nick even look more like a monster. She then buys loads of expensive stuff on Nick's credit card to make him look like a greedy husband stealing her money. She carefully spills her own blood on the kitchen floor and then poorly cleans it up, leaving just enough trace evidence to worry the cops. She wanted to make it look like Nick tried to mop up after unaliving her. She even pens a fake diary over the course of 5 years, blending truth and lies to paint Nick as an abusive husband who might end her life. That diary is a masterstroke of manipulation. By the time investigators find it, they are practically ready to slap handcuffs on Nick. What's really impressive and scary is how adaptive Amy is. When parts of her plan go awry, for instance, when she gets robbed by those drifters at the motel and loses all her money, she doesn't panic like a normal person. She calmly pivots to plan B. That's when she reels in Desi, her wealthy ex-boyfriend, wrapping him around her finger with a fabricated tale of abuse and danger. Poor Desi doesn't realize he's basically a supporting character in Amy's story, there to give her a temporary hideout and eventually to be the fall guy. Amy switches personas on a dime, from happy wife to terrified victim, from calculating planner to damsel in distress, whatever suits the situation. Her emotional shape-shifting is truly next level. In terms of sheer scheming capability, she ranks up there with the best of the bad guys. We're talking Hannibal Lecter levels of planning, Kizo Souza levels of deception, and a bit of Joker-esque flair for chaos, all wrapped in a Stepford wife exterior. Think about the scope of Amy's plan. She doesn't just want to punish Nick, she wants to destroy him and craft the perfect narrative. While doing so, she orchestrates a multi-phase scheme. Phase 1. Make Nick look like the worst husband ever. Not like he made it easy for himself either. He was having an affair with his students, but she made him look much worse. She bought lots of things on his credit card and hid it in his sister's shed, even lied in her diary that he was abusive. Phase 2. Disappear and make it look like a murder. Check. Phase 3. Ensure Nick gets charged and hopefully gets the death penalty.
Does Missouri have the death penalty?
Amy literally writes in her diary that Nick might unalive her. In fact, that was the last thing she wrote. She even stages a fake pregnancy to amp up public outrage. She's basically creating evidence for the prosecutors before any crime has even been committed. Phase 4. Hide out until Nick is ruined, then quietly end her life. The original plan was for her to actually commit self-termination, leaving behind the corpse eventually so that it truly seals Nick's fate. When the plan changed was when Nick stylishly used his TV interview to beg her to come back home. She then decided to pivot to framing someone else and return like a phoenix from the ashes to keep Nick in line forever. That's a lot of faces, a lot of spinning plates that Amy keeps spinning flawlessly. It's almost unbelievable, but the story is so well told that we buy that Amy could do it. Amy has definitely earned her place in the movie villain hall of fame. In most thrillers, the bad guy gets caught or killed by the end. Not Amy. Amy comes out on top with her husband stuck by her side, terrified and defeated. she goes unpunished and even gets what she wanted. Amy basically pulled a Houdini. In fact, the villain's wiki literally categorizes her under Karma Houdini, meaning she escaped the consequences of her actions. Sure, she has to live in a messed up marriage, but she's in control of that marriage now, and Nick isn't about to cross her again. She achieved a twisted version of her goal. The marriage didn't end in divorce, it's locked in forever on her terms. Let's not forget her capacity for violence either. Amy might not seem physically imposing, but when needed, she turns into an absolute savage. The scene where she unalives Desi, slitting his throat with a box cutter, is one of the most shocking moments in the film. She planned that too, using his security cameras to show he was alone with her so she could claim self-defense later, and even self-inflicting injuries to corroborate her story. That's cold-blooded execution. She won't just play mind games, she'll get her hands dirty if it serves a purpose. Amy is often mentioned in the same breath as other iconic villains from movies and TV. But how does she compare? Let's do a quick face-off between Amy and some of the baddest baddies in pop culture to see where our Gone Girl stands. First, Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Patrick and Amy are both narcissistic and delusional, but Amy is like his cooler, more methodical cousin. Both characters provide an internal monologue that's unreliable. Patrick's reality is questionable, and Amy literally lies to us via her diary. Patrick acts out of bloodlust and ego, often impulsively, and possibly imagines some of it. Amy acts out of revenge with a detailed plan. She's doing some real life shit. If these two met, Patrick might underestimate Amy as just another pretty face, and that would be his downfall. She would have been framed for something before he even knew it. Amy is less overtly violent than Patrick, but in a battle of wits, Amy's scheming would run circles around Patrick's more chaotic mania. What about Hannibal Lecter? How does Amy compare to someone who can literally play mind games with other killers and escape custody by wearing someone else's face? Surprisingly, Amy and Hannibal have some similarities. Both are extremely manipulative and capable of feigning civility. Hannibal can charm and outwit people even from behind bars, and Amy can definitely do the same. The key difference is appetite. Hannibal's crimes are partly driven by his peculiar taste and need for control through consumption, whereas Amy's crimes are driven by personal vendetta and self-preservation. Hannibal is arguably more evil in a classical sense. He hurts innocent people just to satisfy his cravings, while Amy is more targeted. She only directly harms someone who she believes stands in her way. If it came down to direct confrontation, I believe Hannibal's physical savagery and experience might outmatch Amy. In a lineup of famous villains, Amy might not look as scary at first glance. She's not wielding an axe or wearing a muzzle mask, but give her a little time and she would have the whole lineup dancing to her tune or taking the fall for her crimes. Towards the end of the movie, I really believed that she will be caught. I thought Nick, his twin sister, and the detective will make a crazy comeback. They didn't. Amy won, and I must tell you, I kind of smiled at the end. I was happy. I don't know why, but I was happy. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be dropping more videos this month. Have a good day.